Here you can see a lot of the splashes, we call them plumes, of the incoming fire. Most of these look to be perhaps 130 millimeter guns. It was interesting that when we were raiding Haiphong, I could actually look up at the tops of the plumes, and I was in the gun director, which means at that point they had some fairly large artillery firing at us.
That's our anti-submarine rocket launcher, ASROC. It's basically a torpedo sitting on top of a rocket that's thrown into the water wherever you want it. It also sometimes has a nuclear depth charge on top of a rocket.
A typical day when we were raiding the north during Operation Linebacker might consist of setting general quarters at dusk, conducting 3 different raids, although we might stand down a bit between the raids, but basically spending the entire night at general quarters. The next morning we set the watch, but we also have to maintain the ship, and we also have to rearm, refuel, replenish the ship. So almost every day we would be getting fuel, and or we would be rearming, or we would be getting some kind of other activity going on that required more than just the watch. We once calculated about how much sleep we were getting, and the way it kind of worked out was within a 24-hour period we probably had about 2 hours sleep, and that was non-contiguous, 20-minute cat naps at most. So wars are fought by the sleep deprived. The next time you're doing some armchair generalship, remember that.
This is Newport News, a heavy cruiser, all 8-inch guns, 3 8-inch gun turrets, the largest heavy gun ship in the Navy still in commission at the time, since all the battleships have been decommissioned.
This appears to be a beach in northern South Vietnam. There's a lot of fighting going on, a lot of activity, airstrikes, bombing, naval gunfire, and it looks very much like an amphibious operation that Berkeley supported. So we're going to go out on a limb here and declare that this is Operation Song Than 672 on 24 May 1972. Berkeley was in the area at the time. The deck log shows that she was at Point Angela and that she was involved in some heavy gunfire. The amphibious operation was conducted by the South Vietnamese Marines with U.S. support. The U.S. provided the helicopters from U.S. assets offshore. It was a vertical envelopment. Target area was prepared with naval gunfire support, with aerial bombing, and also with B-52 strikes. You'll see those later. The B-52 strikes were the regular arc-light strikes, which used conventional bombs. We could feel the blast even though we were miles offshore. You'll see the B-52s launch an attack with white phosphorus to obscure the beach. At one point, if you watch closely, you will see a helicopter flying alongside, apparently parallel to the beach.
coming up is the gun director, with yours truly, the narrator, there in the top, just under the radar dish, putting down the binoculars. And although the narrator can't be sure, that would appear to be Gunner McDonald, who was the filmer of most of this production. That line of clouds along the horizon is not clouds, that is the result of an arc light strike by B-52s. And you catch your Z's when you can. There's another arc light strike. Walking along the beach, this one is not conventional bombs, this is Willie Peter, white phosphorus. It's designed to cover the entire area with smoke and white phosphorus.
Although this portion of the film is showing its age, it may in fact be the raid on Haiphong. This was called Operation Pocket Money. It happened local time, 9 May 1972, and it was in support of the mining operations. A-7s, A-6s from the fleet mined the harbor to halt the flow of shipping in and out of Haiphong to prevent logistic supplies from reaching Vietnam, North Vietnam. It was a day that none of us will ever forget. We are extremely fortunate to have any film at all of that combat. Thanks to gunner's mate Steve McDonald with his 8mm camera, we do have some of that. Most of our operations were conducted at night and would not have been visible, but fortunately enough daytime activity took place that we do have some record for the history of our ship.